Okay, I did a endurance test on a 24 volt minn kota. What was it called? A riptide bow mount trolling motor. It's back there in the water. I used 4 6-volt batteries, and I've got the control up here. I used a chill cooler on it to keep it cool, and I ran it at 500 watts for 5 hours and had no trouble. So I finally broke through, and it was 5 hours straight, no breaks. Well, I did stop to go to the bathroom once, but I checked everything when I stopped. Like, the motor was cool, everything was cool. These electronics took about an hour to get hot the first time, maybe an hour and a half, something like that. And as soon as I turned the water on, it instantly cooled off. So it's very effective. Temporarily, I've just got the switch. So it's running through the chill block. Only trouble is the motor is not a continuous duty, and it's not a submersible, so it's going to get hot easily. But I could run it for a couple minutes every 10 or 15 minutes, and it would be more than enough. I'll go ahead and turn it on so you can see the meter. Alright, I got this meter. Oh, I got waves, I guess. Must have been that wave runner. Alright, so if you look at this meter, you can see that I used 2,500 watt hours. So, of course, at 500 watts per hour, that's 5 hours. And I'm still over 23 volts. From what I read, something like 21 volts is dead. So probably wouldn't want to go under 22 volts. And but this is the speed I've been running all day. It moves. It's 500 watts. My other trolling motor, it's a minn kota Enduramax or something like that. It's 45 pound. This 24 volt is a 80 pound. But the 12 volt runs 40-ish amps. So it runs, what is that, 480? I guess it runs a little under 40 amps because it was running at 460, 470 to start with. And last time I was out, I ran that one just full throttle for, what was it? I don't even remember. It's probably my last video, 2.5 hours, something like that is all it could last, and then everything got hot. So that was under 500 watts. This one, like I said, it's running at 500 watts the whole time for 5 hours, and everything's cool. Like I said, every once in a while I have to, like 10 or 15 minutes. I mean, I probably could go longer than that. I could have to turn the water on. Probably go every half an hour. It would be fine. Maybe even longer. But, I go every 15 minutes and I turn it on for a couple minutes. So that's all I've had to do. I may try to get 1 more hour out of it. I don't know. I've only used 2,500 watt hours, and theoretically, brand new batteries, these aren't brand new, but if they were brand new and if everything worked like it advertised, I'd get about 5,000 watt hours out of these batteries. So They're golf cart batteries. They're 208 amp hours. So something like 1200 watt hours each, something like that, maybe a little more. And they probably, when they're brand new, like a month old, they probably perform a little better than that, and it doesn't take long, and they don't work that as good. But at some point, maybe I'll actually test the batteries, but I'd have to run this thing at 30 amps, and I don't think the motor can run at 30 amps for well, what would it take, 7 hours to run the batteries out? I don't think it will. I don't think it would run it for 4 hours. So with the setup I have now, I guess I've just got too much batteries. But the good thing is, these batteries, even if they were half dead, like they only had half capacity, I would still be able to run for 5 hours continuous. So if you're stopping and going, you got more than that. So it got dark for a little while, and now the sun's coming back out. So maybe I'll try to see if it'll do another hour. I don't know. Kind of tainted the test now that I've stopped. So it is getting late. It's 6:30. It's past 6:30 at night. So maybe I'll just load up. Anyway, it was successful. The block was overkill, but it worked really good. I mean, this thing doesn't get hot anymore. I'm sure the circuitry still gets hot, but the wires don't get hot at all. Connections don't get hot. I crossed the channel earlier up by the ferry, and it did fine there, but then I came down this way and I went into that cove over there, and I tried to cross the channel again right here on full again, and I only got halfway across, and the breaker popped. It's a 60 amp breaker, and I was only running apparently by this meter I was running at 42 amps or something like that. It didn't like it anyway, so I that's why I say I don't think 30 amps will run that for that long. It might, but I don't think so. I think it runs at 20 to 22 amps to give you 500 watts during the less amps at the beginning because you got more charge on the battery. But I think that's the magic number for this setup. I think this motor is supposed to run at 13 or 1400 watts, and I'm running it at 500 watts, and that's apparently enough to keep it cool because they're not really designed for it. Okay, that's it.